Hello, Cambridge, and welcome to What's That About, where we answer all your questions about the pressing issues of the day, brought to you by CCTV. We've seen things you people wouldn't believe. Imagine, if you don't watch our show, all those moments will be lost in time, like tears in rain.
Time to die. Our first question comes from Bob in Greater Boston. Bob asks, I read that the wonderful Kraft family just signed an agreement with the cities of Everett and Boston to build a soccer stadium for the New England Revolution in Everett. Why then is Boston still going ahead with building an expensive other soccer stadium in Franklin Park for the women's professional team?
That's an interesting question, Bob. First, can you explain what just happened with the Everett Stadium, Julie? I thought Mayor Wu was holding out for more benefits before agreeing to let a stadium go in on Boston's northern border.
It's true. Before the Krafts plan for a 25,000-seat stadium could move on to the next step, the owners needed to get a community impact agreement from Everett and Boston.
But the stadium is in Everett, right? Which is not part of Boston, although confusingly, Charlestown right next door is part of Boston. Why did the Krafts have to give Boston anything there?
At first, the Krafts thought much like you and only offered a puny $750,000 in mitigation funds to the city. But Mayor Wu argued that the stadium's likely impact on Boston transportation and infrastructure hubs like the nearby Sullivan Square T-stop meant the Krafts should be offering quite a bit more in compensation.
And so on the last day before being forced to go to arbitration, all the parties decided to agree. What did Boston end up getting?
Well, Boston extracted almost $48 million in promised funds over the next 15 years. That money will go towards engineering to keep lights and noise pollution from impacting Charlestown, $5 million in improvements to Sullivan Square, and an annual fund for city transportation improvements. Everett also got about $100 million in mitigation, in addition to the estimated $100 million necessary for environmental cleanup at the site, which was the former Mystic generating plant.
Wow. Although most of the money is coming from ticket surcharges, right? So it's not like the Krafts are really paying for this out of their personal massage funds. Anyway, what happens now? Are they going to start digging up dirt next to the Mystic right away?
Not yet. Next, a formal construction proposal will be brought to Everett's planning board and the state for approval. The public will also have many more chances to weigh in. Assuming all that is approved, the stadium will take about 4 years to build, including the environmental remediation of the power plant site.
Even though I know the Krafts are going to come out ahead because the rich people always do in this country, I think it's refreshing that the cities are actually making them pay for this new stadium instead of just basically handing over piles of public money to fund it, like what usually happens in other parts of this godforsaken country with professional sports arenas. But hey, what about the other stadium Bob is talking about? The one the city is building for the women's team, the Boston Legacy FC, down in Franklin Park.
That's a whole nother kettle of fish, or sack of soccer balls, if you will.
I won't.
The city, in partnership with Legacy FC, has been planning on renovating Old White Stadium in Franklin Park for years. In fact, in 2024, the team signed a 10-year lease, and they've gone so far as to demolish the old stadium and are in the process of finalizing construction bids for the new build.
How much is this going to cost?
Well, the city's cost estimate was initially set at $91 million, but now there's rumors that the cost will come out as high as $170 million when they update the budget early this year. The city is only paying for about half of the project, too.
Wow. 91 million, 170 million. Pretty soon you're talking about real money. Me, I don't even blink until it's billions. But what does the city get for this money?
White Stadium is the home for the City of Boston's high school football and other sports activities. So the city will get a top-of-line sports facility for its kids while only paying half the cost. Boston Legacy will play up to 20 games per year at the stadium under certain parameters as to when and what time the games can occur.
That doesn't sound too bad. Why are some Bostonians up in arms about it?
Well, a big one is traffic. White Stadium is a bit of a hike from the nearest Orange Line stop at Forest Hills, and there's no plan for adding parking. Shuttles from the station and extra buses will be provided for game day.
Isn't not having more parking good? Less people driving in means less traffic, right?
Opponents say that people will drive anyway and clog up local streets. But there are other objections, too, around increased noise and light pollution, like the Krafts had to mitigate in Everett, litter, and a change to Franklin Park's historic character. In fact, environmentalists are suing the city because they say the plan amounts to privatization of public lands. 2 courts have already ruled in favor of the city, but the case is now in front of the state Supreme Court.
I read that the Boston Globe editorial board is pushing for the agreement to be dissolved and just have the women's team play in Everett.
True, the women's team is already playing their first year in 2026 at Gillette Stadium because the new stadium has not been built yet. but their owners do not want to have to play in a stadium larger than they need and one owned by the Krafts.
I don't know. Does the area really need like two fancy new soccer stadiums? And can't Boston just build a smaller high school football stadium for less money at Franklin Park and let the legacy figure something else out?
The Wu administration is reluctant to abandon what they look at as a win-win. Big improvements for high school sports and more revenues and interest coming into the city from a new women's team.
Well, I just hope Mayor Wu isn't scoring an own goal here by getting too far out over her skis, striking out by trying to hit a grand slam instead of just going for the easy base hit up the middle with a smaller stadium.
Those were definitely a bunch of sports metaphors.
I know sports. I'm a sportsman.
Really, what's your favorite sport?
Oh, all the big ones. Mario Kart, Catan, NHL 93.
Okay, well, until next week.
We'll see you first.